How's it going out there, everybody? I hope you guys are doing good tonight, enjoying this beautiful weather. If you got the same weather we have here in Central Illinois, it is beautiful. Get a few more people on here and we'll fire this thing up. Don't need to take up too much of your time tonight. John C., it's good to see you on here, bud. Did you get any rain today, John? Talked to my brother earlier and he said it looked like it was raining down in Harrisburg. Mike, good to see you on here. Get a few more people here, guys, and we'll fire it up, man. Pretty easy topic tonight, so looking for all the questions you want to throw my way. Mike McQuarrie, good to see you on here. John, that's good to hear. Glad you're getting some rain. We got a pretty good hard rain Saturday, 4th of July. Yeah, Saturday night, got about 1.5 inches. Been hot and humid. Just kind of going over a few questions here that people have been throwing my way here that we can go over tonight, just seeing how many of them I got here, see if I can kind of throw some of them together on the same answer or not. Got quite a few of them jumped in here tonight. Like seeing that. Well, let's just go ahead and fire it up, get it going. You know, tonight we're talking about late planting annuals. And what I mean by late planting annuals are mixes that are the best to use for a late planting. You know, over the years, except for this year so far, over the years, probably the last 5 or 6 years, we have been in a drought. A lot of other people on here has been in a drought. And, you know, August comes, my planting window is the 15th of August. That comes, Labor Day comes, it's dry as a bone, can't work ground, can't plant. And you're looking for something that's going to give you the most tonnage out of anything for a late planting. And we have 2 products that work best for that. These are ones that you can actually plant at your normal planting window. As in for me, I'd be planting these about August 15th to Labor Day. But if I'm in a drought, or my plot gets burned up for some reason that is freshly growing, and it gets burned up and I got to replant, I can use these same 2 mixes for that as well, where some of our other mixes that I will talk about, you do not want to do, or you can, but you're not going to get the tonnage out of them. So, you know, starting off with my favorite, pull it up here, just so you don't have to hear a name, you can actually see what I'm talking about. The Lights Out. Lights Out is an unbelievable food plot for the early season all the way through late season. So this mix here can be planted at your normal planting window, or it can be planted later. Now, I highly recommend not planting it at your normal window because you don't know what Mother Nature is going to throw your way. And, you know, you might get a late frost, not an early one. So with these 2 mixes that I'm going to show you, especially the Lights Out here, I will always try to tell everybody to shoot for a month later than your normal late annual season planting. Mine here, I'm looking at August 15th. So with me, I am not going to plant this mix until about the 15th of September. Very fast growing. The reason you want to wait is, number one, you don't know what Mother Nature is going to throw at you, like I said before. If you do get early frost, then your normal window planting, you can use it as well for it. But if you're worried about getting a later frost, you do not want these plants getting stemmy, especially the oats in this. Now, the turnip that is in this mix, you're good to go with it, but the oats will get real stemmy on you. So you always want to do about a month later planting than your normal fall planting window that you normally would plant. So the other one, which is an old trusty, that is our fall, winter, spring. The fall, winter, spring, like the lights oat, it has the oats in it, the forage oat. The fall, winter, spring is going to give you the cereal grains. So again, same thing with the oats. You don't want them getting too stemmy. So planting these a month later than normal annual fall planting time is ideal. Now, again, I can't stress it enough that yes, because I get asked the question, I have two of them on here right now that people's already asked me the exact same question. That's why I'm really pushing this time to plant this, because a lot of people do plant this during their normal fall planting time period that they normally would plant their turnips, their radishes, all their brassicas, stuff like that. Yes, you can, and you can get by with it, but hoping you get a frost earlier so the cereal grains and the fall, winter, spring, or the forage oats and the lights out don't get too stemmy on you and they're not as palatable for the deer. So a month later planting works out great. Very fast growing, and you're going to get a lot of tonnage out of these. Now, our old trustees is Honey Hole, Slam Dunk. You know, them two right there are my favorite mixes. Yes, you can plant them later. Just knowing if you're planting them a month later than normal, then you're not going to have very good turnips. The bulb sizes are going to be smaller. They probably won't be as sweet. You're going to have less tonnage. So planting the lights out and the fall, winter, spring, either one of them over the Honey Hole or the Slam Dunk is going to give you a lot better tonnage. Now we have the Grade 8 mix. Grade 8 is another one that you can do a month later, but still you're not going to get the tonnage out of it as you will the lights out or the fall, winter, spring. Even though it has the forage oat in it, it has the cereal grains in it. It just doesn't have them to the magnitude that the other two bags have in with them. So you're going to be limited on the tonnage there. Even though you got it in there, you're not going to have the tonnage amounts as if you would if you planted the lights out or the fall, winter, spring. So them are by far the best two products we have for an extra late fall planting. You get in a bind, can't get your plots in, you're in a drought, you're waiting for rain, it gets a month later than you normally would plant. These are the two mixes that you definitely want to go with. They're going to give you the most tonnage, they're going to be the most palatable. It's going to work out great for you. Now, one question I did get on here was, which one would I prefer? I prefer them both for two different reasons. But if you're only wanting to plant one of them, you're looking at the lights out for a great early season all the way to late season. Now you look at the fall, winter, spring with the cereal grains in it, them cereal grains, that cereal rye is not going to die off with the first frost. It's actually going to go dormant and it's going to green back up about a month earlier than normal spring green up. So with that, you're having early season food all the way till spring and next year with an excellent turkey plot. So if your guys are big turkey hunters, that fall, winter, spring works excellent for that. And it offers them deer about a 30% protein when they're growing them antlers that next spring. So, but again, I like both of them. I love forage oats, and I love the turnip that's in it. I love the radish that's in a fall, winter, spring, the buckwheat. It does have a variety of peas in it. I'm not worried about the peas because what little they do come up, the deer are going to nip off. But the radish, the buckwheat, and the fall, winter, and the cereal grains is what I'm looking for. So if you can plant both different areas, works excellent. If I can only pick one or other, me being a turkey hunter, I will go with fall, winter, spring because I want that spring green up early next year. So, all right, let's see what I got on here. Mark Coleman, when I was rambling on, I seen something pop up here on my screen for you. I don't know what it was, but I didn't catch it in time for it went off, bud. But again, that's about it for the late season. Things I can add to that if you're wanting to get optimal germination, optimal growth. You know, like I said last weekend, or last couple weekends, you're looking at a good seed bed. Put your triple 19 down, work it into the soil so you don't lose it for evaporation. Pack the soil, seed it, and pack it again, and pray for rain. It's going to give you the best germination. It's going to give you optimal growth that way. It's going to work out very, very well. Now, another thing that's good for it is the Jolt fertilizer. The Jolt fertilizer is a nitrogen-based foliar fertilizer that you can mix in with it. I will tell you this, with the fall, winter, spring, and the lights out, I would not use any herbicides on it. You can get by with some, but I would highly recommend not using a herbicide. So just spray your Jolt 100% on its own. I really don't want to get into the fertilizer that much because there is an easy way to burn that plot up using the wrong fertilizer. So I try to steer people away from using any herbicides on that because you got a mixture of broadleaf and grass species. So you could it's real touchy. The herbicides that are for it are very expensive. And this stuff grows so fast that usually it's going to grow out and smother out the weeds and grasses, and you won't have to worry about it. So I would highly recommend just using a foliar fertilizer with a surfactant and without a herbicide. Mike, you're saying humidity is molding all your maple tree leaves? I've seen that myself. It is crazy. John, out spraying clover on Sunday. Good to hear, man. Get that plot all worked up for me and get it going good because that dream hunt's going to be here before you know it, bud. Looking forward to it. Oh, there we go. See what else got. You guys got any more questions here? I'm just going to start rambling on some more. Mark Coleman, I know you got a question out there, bud. You always do. All right, I'm checking out some questions here. People have actually emailed in for me, and a bunch of questions. They like to know things. Half the topic, questions, feel free to throw them my way. But I like answering some questions for guys. The fall planting is coming upon us right now pretty quick. And I enjoy helping people out this way. So one of the big questions I get here from John is one of three here. Number one is, when is the best time to kill off your area to plant your plot? You know, that's depending if I have anything growing in it. All my plots always have clover in them. I plant them in the spring. I always have clover where my annuals are going to be because I want that nitrogen in the soil and feeding the deer at the same time. So I'm waiting until the last minute. I'm waiting until usually 2 weeks before I plant. Then I'm going to kill it off. Now, in the past here, 5 years, 6 years, I have waited as long as I could just because we've been in a drought and I knew my clover's looking better than probably anything I'm going to plant. And if I don't see rain coming in, I'm leaving the clover. So it just really depends. But yeah, usually a couple of weeks. I like using the Liberty, which is another question from him here. I like using Liberty herbicide. A lot faster burn down, a complete burn down, a lot better than any glyphosate that you can get. And it just works so much better. A little more expensive, but bigger bang for the buck. So I hope that helps you out there, John. I got a question here that's something that we haven't actually, I don't know if we've even talked about these on any of these Turnin Dirts. And it's actually not a dirt, it's a feed question. Bill's on here asking about our big boy tubs. If you haven't seen them already, we have the big boy tubs, or a 200-pound tub. It's pretty much like a 200-pound block, but it's in a tub form, just like a cattle tub. One thing he has noticed is that we have 2 different formulas that we came out with, and that is correct. The first formula, which we were testing, we liked it. It worked good. But we had a lot of customers reaching out to us saying, man, the deer just don't eat it as fast as I want them to, which we knew this was going to happen. It happens with blocks. It happens with everything. So we went in and reformulated the tub. And what he's talking about here is he got the new tub, and it lasted a quarter of the time that the first gen tub did. He's asking what we did wrong. Well, we actually didn't do nothing wrong. We take pride in our customers' reviews, calling in, emailing in, texting in, messaging me on concerns they may have. So we took the concerns of people were worried about the deer not consuming as much as they thought they should at a time, and the tub lasting, 8 to 9 weeks, which is kind of what I wanted out of it. They wanted it not to last as long. So we changed the formula. We actually changed it too good because the deer will completely destroy them now. So now, along with Bill here, we're getting the calls and the emails and the texts now on, man, what'd you guys do wrong? Because the deer are just hammering these things and they're only lasting a couple weeks. Well, we made them too good. So now they're too good for the deer, too palatable, and they just love them. Just like our Grainiac blocks. They will not leave them alone when they get on them. So yeah, in the future, we might see a little happy medium somewhere that we might do something a little different, but right now the tubs are staying the way they are. Like I said, the deer are hammering them. I like a longer lasting tub because when I think of a 200-pound tub, I want something that I don't have to go out there every couple of weeks and replenish. The old tub worked excellent for that, and the deer were still getting their nutritional value they needed. Now the deer are just getting the nutritional value at a lot shorter period of time. So yeah, the tubs have been kind of a up and down, trying to get it just right for every customer. We know we're not going to satisfy everybody, but we try our best to do that. So that's why you'll see some, especially feed and attractants, the formula is switching a little bit, changing around, because we do take all the concerns from our customers to heart, and we want everybody to be happy and try to find that happy medium there. So I hope that helps you out there. Kind of answers that a little bit. Mike's saying, I love all the mixes you mentioned, but trophy clover question. First year using it, is it normally kind of slow start? Seems like Game Changer grows faster. Am I doing something? Absolutely. The trophy clover mix, what you're looking at is a mixture of forage perennial clovers that's going to grow a 3 to 4 foot deep root system. With that root system, them plants will not emerge out of the ground until that root system is completely developed. So, good black soil, you'll get faster plants emerging, so they're going to be able to grow that root system faster. Clay soil, a little bit slower. It could take about 6 weeks to start seeing anything emerging. You'll start seeing grass and weeds emerge before you do the clovers, just because it's growing that root system. The first year clover plot is always what I call the ugliest plot you'll ever have. First year clover is nasty. Weeds, grasses, less growth than what you're thinking that you should have, especially if you're used to planting annuals. But that second year comes in and all heck breaks loose. It is night and day difference. The tonnage is 10 times more than it was the year before, and it just really does this flourish. Now, the game changer clover, being a shade tolerant clover, your shallower root systems that will emerge quicker and grow faster. So, and a lot that has to do with it with the game changer. Most people are planting game changer in a shaded area that can hold some moisture, where the trophy clover wants that full sun. But with that full sun, you're getting all that heat of the day temp right on that slows down that growth too. So even though it loves it and it needs it, it's not gonna grow as good because it's burning actually the heat is sucking out the moisture in the ground. So, Mike, I hope that helps you out there too as well, my friend. All right, what else we got on here? I don't like these easy topic nights because you guys know me, I like just to ramble on. And there ain't much to ramble on about late planting annuals. I guess one thing I could say is with the fall, winter, spring, and the lights out, both of these mixes love sun, 5+ hours of sun a day. And like anything else, the better the pH, the more tonnage and the more sweetness you're going to get out of it. If you're in a shaded area and you're really late to the ball game and planting anything, the no sweat would work the best for you there. Try not to plant the fall, winter, spring, or the lights out in a shaded area. You will not be happy. You'll actually be discouraged. But yeah, no sweat would be good for them shaded areas for a late planting. Kevin's asking, can you only drill or can you broadcast the fall, winter, spring lights out? You can actually do both. Anytime you guys got questions on drilling stuff, let me know, because you will find with me, I'm a hands-on guy. So everything I do is by hand. I don't care if I'm planting 7 acres, I'm using a hand broadcast spreader, because that's just how I've always been, and that's how I probably always will be. Having a no-till drill would be sweet, but I just like the hands-on part of it. So you always usually hear me talk about broadcasting. But again, if you have any questions, let me know if it's a no-till driller type situation that you're wanting to talk about. More than happy to help you out there. But I seem to talk more about broadcasting than the no-till, and I apologize. Mike's asking, have you mixed any of the clovers in those lights out grade 8 mix for the fall planting of clover? I have not. I know people that do. If I am going to plant, if I'm trying to get a clover plot established in the fall, I'm just going to plant my straight clovers. Here's the reason why. When you're looking at lights out, you're looking at grade 8. You're looking at plants that are going to pretty much destroy the soil with the bulb plants that are in them. So you're not going to have a full growth out of your clover. Now, if you don't mind going in the next year, the next spring, overseeding into it to fill them bare spots, then yes, no problem at all. But you will lose some of the clovers that you actually mix in with them, because when you're taking them big brassica plants and you're planting them with something that's going to grow this tall, and the brassicas are going to grow this tall, a lot of times they will shade them clovers out and kill them. So just knowing that you're not going to have a beautiful clover plot the next spring by doing that, you're okay. But if you're thinking you're going to have this gorgeous plot coming in for that next year, it's going to have a lot of work to be done to it, as in getting in, filling in the bare spots, and getting it all established. So, but mixing them in, you're fine, but you can kill some of them clovers out, and you will need to reseed. And again, that's something that I don't do. I'm not against it, but I know a lot of buddies of mine that do, and I see what they go through with it. And but more food, the merrier. And talking about that, a lot of people hear me talk about a spring planting clover. I always plant my clovers in the spring. If I was a smart man, I would wait and plant them in the fall because you have less weed and grass issues to deal with. But I'm the guy that loves going in, mowing my clovers, spraying them, manicuring my plots. So I don't mind the nasty plot, as in doing it in the springtime and having to compete with all the grass and weeds. But the fall period, the fall time is the best time to plant a clover plot if you're doing it to establish it for the next spring. Don't do a big forage clover plot in the fall thinking you're going to have tons and tons of forage on it that first season there for hunting. Because if you don't have but just a month or two or a couple months before your first heavy frost, you're not going to have the tonnage there like you would if you did a spring planting. So my spring planting, like I said, I love doing the maintenance to them, and I want the most tonnage there that first fall. All right. I think we got about 3 questions right here or 3 different people asking about the same question. So I'm just going to answer the question instead of calling everybody's name out here. We're talking about red zone. You guys heard me talk about red zone quite a bit in the past. Red zone is probably one of the best seed mixes that we actually have, especially for a hunt over food source. But it's the one that you really got to watch planting. If you don't have a couple 3 acres to plant, I would highly recommend not planting it, just because being a soybean pea variety, the deer will nip it off as soon as it pops out of the ground like that. If you've ever been out through an agriculture area, seen the deer out there in the bean field when they're just starting to pop out of the ground, they start at one row and they just nip them off the ground all the way down. It doesn't take very many deer to wipe out a ½ acre or 3/4 acre plot of red zone when it first starts. It'll never get up to maturity. So getting up there in 2 to 3 acres, usually it will withstand a lot of abuse. The one thing, if you're looking at planting the red zone, you got a big enough area. What I highly recommend doing, if you want it for an early season, early and mid-season food source and a late season through the deer season, plant it in the fall. Don't plant it spring, plant it in the fall. I will go and plant my red zone in the fall time of the year because, and actually a little later, but I'll plant it in the fall time of the year because in my area with all the agriculture I got, the soybeans are starting to dry up. They're starting to turn yellow. They're getting stemmy, and the deer are starting to step away from them until that cold weather hits. Well, if you got the red zone in there and them plants are up and they're green and they're lush, that's where they're going to be at. They will literally destroy them. And the good thing about the red zone is, with it pretty much keeping a pretty weed-free plot, you can go right over top of it with some honey hole as well, and have you some good greens down the bottom of it too, of the high energy brassicas for the late season. So, but again, let's get in there with at least 2 to 3 acres before planting that red zone. I don't want you upset when you see how the deer will just destroy it. I've literally had guys get a hold of me and tell me that it's growing in certain areas of their plot and not the other, and they know the deer is not eating it, and I will talk them into putting a trail camera on it, and they are blown away on seeing how the deer will just start at one area and just start eating it out. They don't spread out. They just keep nipping it until there's no more there, and they move over. And the guys, it blows them away on a half-acre plot of red zone. One night, they will wipe it out if it's 2 inches tall, and that's about 6 does. So just be careful on how small of an area that you actually plant the red zone. But you can't beat it. It's an awesome one. All right, let's see what other questions we got here. Well, this is an easy one. I've answered this one 100 times on here. This is a good one. What is my favorite go-to fall blend? Honey Hole and Slam Dunk, mixed together, rationed out, put it out there, and I'll tell you what, you got the best of all 3 seasons. You cannot beat it for early, mid, and late season if you mix the 2 together. The most tonnage you're going to receive, it's excellent. The key thing is ration the mix out so the plants don't starve each other for nutrition. You want them plants healthy. You want them to mature out, be as sweet as they can. So you always want to put that recommended rate on. But Honey Hole and Slam Dunk, by far my favorite. And that's the only thing that goes on my annual fields for, man, Slam Dunk has been around for, holy cow, 15 years, 15 or 16 years now, maybe just a little bit longer than that. Time's flying by. I can't believe it's 2026. It's actually been longer than that. Probably closer to 20. But that's my favorite since then. I mean, you can't beat Slam Dunk for an early, mid, and late season food source unless you add Honey Hole to it. And then there's nothing out there that will give you any more late season tonnage than them 2 mixed together. And then the early and the mid season with the Slam Dunk. There's nothing else out there that'll do it. But like with the topic we're talking about, if you don't get them planted, I would not plant them a month later than normal planting time. Go with the lights out or the fall, winter, spring. They need that growing season. All right, guys, you got anything for me? It's only 7:34, but we're running out of things to talk about. I'm more than happy to answer any questions you got. Kevin's asking, are we coming out with any new fall or any new seed blends? I can say we're working on one. Let's just put it that way. We have been testing one for a couple of years now, and we're getting it to where we want it. We're not going to give it to anybody until we're happy with it. But we are actively working on actually quite a few new products. So something that we haven't done for a while. We haven't really hit it real hard on the new products, and there's a big reason for that. I know this is off topic, but I get asked a lot, why don't we bring new products out more often? Well, probably the easiest way for me to say this, there's only so much stuff you can do with deer feed, blocks, attractants, and seed blends. Can we build seed blends a little different than what we got and say they're better? Yes. Are they better? Probably not. When you have mixes like we have that are as old as they are, you look at the Honey Hole, you're looking at, 36 years old on the Honey Hole. It's 36 years old this year. Still our #1 selling annual. You look at the Trophy Clover mix, 38 years old, still the #1 selling perennial mix. All this time is still, both of them are still #1 in their category. it's hard to build something when you have such a reputable and great product. You don't want to take nothing away from it. We built the Grade 8. The reason we built the Grade 8, which that's the last big seed blend that you've seen us bring out for a while, we built it because so many people were using Lights Out, Fall, Winter, Spring, Slam Dunk, and Honey Hole. There was 4 of them right there. So people were mixing them 4 together. So we thought, you know, let's help out the customer by bringing a new product out that has all 4 of them in it, where they're actually saving money by planting the Grade 8 instead of buying individual bags and mixing them all together. So that's kind of the way we look at it. We're not putting a product out there just to try to make money off of or say, hey, we got a new product. If we're going to have a new product out there, it's going to be worth promoting. So as you can tell with the Grade 8, the Grainiac block, the kitchen sink block, the kitchen sink feed, everything that I just said right there. Now, I shouldn't say that. The Grade 8 mix has never taken the #1 spot away from Honey Hole. But the kitchen sink feed, the Grainiac block, the kitchen sink block, them are all #1 sellers in their own category. And they still are since we brought them out. It's just, that's why we do it. We want it to work for the customer and for the wildlife. And we're not going to throw something out there just to try to make $1 off of it. So that's the reason that you kind of see us not bringing a lot of products out. It's kind of a long, rambling way that I try to say it. Mike's asking about Southern Greens. Southern Greens, we discontinued. One of my favorites, actually. I love Southern Greens. I really did. To the point when we discontinued it, I had a bunch of it shipped my way just so I'd have it for the next few years. But that kind of goes with the new seed blend we're working with as well. Southern Greens was designed to be used in the southern states. We wanted it to be used down in Texas, Florida, Georgia, Alabama. That's what that mix was designed to do. That's where it got its name, Southern Greens. Man, I remember the months and months and months of all of us trying to figure out what to call it, and hundreds of names and trying to pick 2 and 3 at a time. And it was crazy. But we finally came out with Southern Greens. It just fit it so perfectly. But the one mistake we made when we sent that name to get put on the bags, we didn't think about testing it in the northern region. So after the name is Southern Greens and the bag is out, then we got people planting it in Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin, all over, and the deer are hammering it. Which after I think about it, I know they're going to hammer it, but we just had it so much stuck in our head that we're trying to do something for a fall blend for a southern states. That's where our head was at, not thinking that it's not only a southern state type mix, it's good for everywhere. But with that name being on it, people thought it was only for the South. So it was either try to promote it a lot better to be able to use everywhere, or pull it off the shelf, revamp, rename, and make it pretty much better than before. So that's what we're working on. All right, guys, throw them my way. We're going to be getting off here in a few minutes. Got anything else, just let me know. If I don't know the answer, you know me well enough. I'll make it up and make you believe it. Here's a good one right here. How do I prefer my turnips? What size am I looking for? If I could pick the perfect size turnip that grow in my plot every year, it would be baseball. I don't want a big softball, soccer ball turnip. Deer do not prefer them as well as they do the small one. They want a small one where they can nip them tops off easier or get it out of the ground and get it in their mouth and work it around. I have watched deer in plots for many, many years trying to eat what I thought was the best turnip ever. Was a great big soccer ball sized turnip that I was so proud that I was growing them that big, and the deer could hardly do anything with them. They were so hard, especially with the frost or the freeze, they couldn't get their mouth around them. They'd go over to a little baseball size one or smaller, and they could rip it out of the ground and stand there in front of you for 10 minutes and just chomping and chomping, rolling around like they do in your corn. So my favorite is a baseball. And that's normally what you're going to get with good fertilization, good pH in the soil, and a later planting. So I'll never plant my turnips any earlier than the 15th of August here in the Midwest, where I'm at here in Illinois. So I want them, I need that frost to kill them brassicas. All brassicas, you never want them to mature out prior to a frost. So the earlier you plant them to try to get them great big bulbs, in the long run, if you don't get a frost to kill it before they mature, you're actually hurting that food source instead of helping it by having such a great big bulb. All right, guys, we're going to jump off here. I don't see nothing else on here. We'll be back here in a couple of weeks. Jump on the next topic, go from there. In the meantime, figure out some questions for me. If you have anything, I don't care if it's for next spring or next summer. Just yell at me and we'll get you all taken care of and get it figured out. So you guys have a great night. Take care, and we'll see each other soon.